You know, a lot of you are installing food plots right now. I've even been on property, even where we hunt down in Kentucky. Um, they're putting food plots in, and it brings to question, get a lot of questions, what shape should the food plot be? And I think you can put too much thought into this. There's a thought out there that you can force this food plot shape into an area, and they're going to use it, an hourglass plot, a boomerang plot, whatever it might be, and that you install this, you're going to have every deer go through there, you set yourself up for a shot. And I think I don't think that's the answer. And I want to show you a couple food plots and give you an example. This one right here, you can see it's a pretty cool shape. It comes to a point back here, goes up here, it goes around the corner. It's wide on that end up top. The higher elevation behind me, and that'll give you a clue into what we're looking at. So this is kind of a cool spot. Kind of get the flavor of this. It's a large 2.5 acre plot. Let's go look at another one though, and I think this will hammer home what I really feel about why a plot should be a certain shape, and when you would use a certain shape or not, and it may help you consider exactly what you're doing with your food plots. It may seem like a boring topic, but I go to a lot of plots that are designed around stand locations and hunting opportunity. And I think a lot of those miss the mark because they're forced, and I don't want you to force it. So let's go take a look at this next plot and see what you think. This is a really good example of the best shape of a food plot. I mean, this is an oval. Why is it an oval? Because that's what the land gave us right here. And that's kind of the point. Why was that food plot over there down to a point? Because that was the point in that area, and then it falls off on either side. So we're sculpting that out. We needed size there, and so we're sculpting out that food plot so that it offers as much space as we can take before it gets too steep on the sides. It widens out at the top because that's near the ag field, and it's away from the hollows, and so we can take more space and still hide it behind that wall of switchgrass and sumac up there. We don't want to go any further to either side. You start getting hardwoods on either side. So it's really sculpted to the lay of the land. And what I find is when you're utilizing an area like this was the flatter area. As soon as you get behind Dylan, it starts to turn into a draw that goes up right there, and a draw that goes up over there. If we go down that way, we're starting to infringe on that point, and there's bedding that takes place on the backside of that point. So if I want does and fawns to feel comfortable right back there, before it drops off, I can't put the food plot right back there. So I want to give this 40, 50 yards. We don't want to shape that into there to get closer to them. We won't want to get the ditches on either side. And then I don't want to go up into this thick sumac and gray dogwood and briar line, because that's our cover. This could have turned into a figure 8 because there's a giant tree in the middle we just wanted to go around. Really nice oak. Bottom line is we're making a thoughtful approach to the flow and the natural flow we want the deer to travel in. And how can we fit this food plot in? That's why there's a long leg right over there where we want the deer to move through here. So it's more lengthy. The one consideration I really like making is if this food plot had an opportunity to go deeper, rectangle this way, I wouldn't want that because I want the deer to go side to side. So I don't care what shape this is, as long as it's long and narrow and facilitating that deer movement. I think too, and this is what I see with mature bucks, things that aren't natural looking, things that don't blend in, areas where you try to force them up a hill, force them down a ravine where they normally don't travel, force them out into the open, take away their cover, then they're not going to travel through it. So we're thinking when a mature buck comes through here, what shape is going to be acceptable to him? And that's always going to go back to the natural flow of the land. This is that bench going side to side. This is where we want the deer to move. So when you're looking at your food plots and you're trying to decide on what should that natural shape be, some considerations. How is the land flowing through? Where is it heavy timber? Where is it not? How much time do you have to clear? How much do you really want to take out? We don't want to take down this giant oak right here and have this giant mess going out here. We like this oak right here in the field. We don't want to really infringe on the natural habitat and where we want to keep some of that habitat. I want to consider access. For example, right back there, we have a thick, really thick patch of switchgrass in line where we can come through, get to the back of that. We could probably have deer out here and get into the back of that blind, and they'd have no clue we're getting in. So where the blind's going to sit, critically important. I don't want it too close In this case, we can hide in a little window back there. We still gave ourselves some room, took some food plot space away so that we can put a line of silky willows in there. They're doing phenomenal this year. Just sorry to interrupt, but I really like you guys to know when some of our partners have some of the biggest sales of the year, and First Lite is having one of those right now, up to 40% off. Great time for early season. Trace pants are in there, one of my favorites for the early season, so check out what they have available. Didn't want you guys to miss out. Now back to the program. You know, one of the things I wanted to show you guys real quick and mention these silky willows down here. Well, look how well these are doing. Now deer don't typically eat the silky willows. If they're right next to a food plot, deer will eat a lot of things you thought they wouldn't eat. So what we did is we piled this up with cut aspen, and then we installed these silky willows. I believe it's 12 right here, 6 in the front, 6 in the back, and staggered. But look at this growth already this year. That's outstanding. We're getting 4 feet high at least, many sprouts coming out. And you can bet that we'll have to trim these next year because they'll explode. They'll grow another 3 or 4 feet. They'll probably increase the number of stems by 5 to 10 times more than there are right now. And the whole idea with this is we could have pushed that blind all the way back there. We could have maximized more food plot space here, but it's not about, and considering shape and everything else, it's not about getting another 1/10 of an acre or 1/16 of an acre. It's again about what's the natural flow, how can I fit the blind in, how can I hide the blind. In our case, we wanted to plant some silky willows too, so it's really critical to consider a lot of different factors. And I want to ask myself, is it really natural and natural looking? I want it to be just a little oasis. I don't want to clear so much timber around here that I have this giant wall going all the way around. So a few considerations. What I don't consider is, I think a figure 8 plot is cool. Let's stick it in here. Let's jam it in here. I think a boomerang looking plot is really cool. Let's jam it in. An hourglass plot. Let's just jam it in here. Try not to think of exactly what it looks like as far as a certain shape that you thought was cool on paper. Instead, think about how a mature buck is going to think about it, how you can get in and out of a stand location, the least amount of clutter available in the area so that you can make it look natural. Natural is always best. What's the best shape? The one that fits and looks the prettiest in that location. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I really want to urge you to check out purewildlifelens.com. That is my seed company. Jen and I founded that 3 years ago, 3 seasons ago. And we have 20 offerings now for you. And there's 3 quick things I want to hit. Pure wildlife blends, meaning we add no coatings, garbage, inert matter to the seed, and we don't try to sell you on that. No fancy colors in the bag. Also, same-day shipping. And bottom line is, I've been researching and building experience on food plotting at a high level for the last 3 decades. Each of that goes into the bag. We choose what we want to plant in the bag, not our seed wholesaler. And all that research goes into that, all that experience. So check out those blends. And again, it's crunch time. Ours are looking beautiful. And if you check out our seed, this is a perfect time to buy. Thank you for watching.